Welcome everyone to the Everything Show, episode 551. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Chris L. What's up, Chris?
Good evening, everybody.
What's up, Steampunk?
OfAmberStreet.com. Hello.
What's up, Scott?
Greetings and salutations.
All right, so Chris, what do you have?
Oh, you want me to go into that article with
do the
Snyder?
article. Yeah, Snyder. Yeah.
Yeah, I read this before. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase and summarize what it was. Basically, he's saying, and he was talking mainly about Man of Steel, and I think a little bit about the Batman versus Superman marketing. He said that, you know, to anybody who's read the comics, who knows Superman, he said that he didn't change Superman at all. That this is the way Superman is, basically, and he's doing his own version, but he's doing a very faithful version to the comics, is basically what I took away from it. Personally, I disagree, and as do a lot of people, I should say.
Yeah, that's bullshit, first of all.
But, you know, he's just defending his work, so I'm not going to get pissed off with the guy for defending his work. We all would. But this isn't Superman to me.
Superman doesn't kill people, though.
No?
That's true. In the comic books, he
never
doesn't kill
killed
people. And the Supergirl version of the Supergirl TV series version of Superman, what brief appearances he has, and he's referenced. Supergirl says Superman doesn't kill people.
Correct. Correct.
So, yeah, Zack Snyder, he did a really good job with X-Men, but he didn't do a good job with Man of Steel. It's just not his forte to do a character like that, because Superman's too wispy,
Bryan Singer
clean.
did X-Men.
Bryan Singer.
Well, Bryan Singer did Superman Returns, but Zack Snyder, I think, did the Man of Steel.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at, and I think Batman vs. Superman, that's a Zack Snyder production as well, correct?
Yeah, it is. But you said that he did well with X-Men.
He didn't do X-Men.
No, I didn't say he
X-Men.
did X-Men. I'm saying that he did Watchmen. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Right.
He did Watchmen. He did a great job with Watchmen, in my opinion, because Watchmen was dark and gritty. The original graphic novel was dark and gritty. But when he moves on to a more positive character like Superman, he doesn't do a good job because he's trying to make him dark and gritty, and it just doesn't fit for Superman.
And the whole notion with Superman, he's supposed to be the opposite of Batman, who is dark, and Superman's supposed to be like the Boy Scout.
Superman don't kill people. That's it.
Yeah.
Even Batman don't kill people, right? I mean,
He goes out of his way.
in the comics, Batman didn't. Right, Batman don't kill anybody, right?
No. But he's supposed to be like the dark, menacing, brooding.
I think Batman only kills in self-defense. That's the only time Batman has ever killed. But he doesn't go out of his way to kill people, and he'll go out of his way not to kill somebody.
Like, I know a lot of people, and they're not wrong for doing this, but a lot of people who are defending Batman versus Superman, because there's a whole notion that Batman might be, you know, he might kill somebody in this movie, or you may have already killed somebody. But they're using, like, what they're using to defend it is the Dark Knight series. And they're like, well, he killed Ra's al Ghul, he killed Harvey Dent, and then someone in the Dark Knight Rises. Oh, Talia. And, well, while they did die because of him,
He didn't save
kill
them, they were saying.
directly.
He directly killed them, right?
He said he chooses not to save him. And that's
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, you get technical with that. The one thing I didn't like about the Dark Knight series, though, is that he had guns on pretty much anything, which was kind of like, okay, but, you know.
Somebody made a crack about that in a cartoon. Says, "Yeah, I don't believe in guns. I don't believe in shooting." And then he offers Catwoman his bike, which has got guns strapped to each side.
Yeah. Again, Superman don't kill people. Sorry. But
No,
I
I
guess he's
agree.
defending-
I had a problem with that. I mean, they would have done a better job if they had it where he threw General Zod into the Phantom Zone. I mean, Superman.
I'm still trying to find out why they turned Superman into the Punisher in the comics, where he's like all a brute riding a motorcycle, like bearded, like right? He's like all I don't read the comic, but it's kind of like messed up.
Really, Superman rides a motorcycle and he's bearded.
Like they would just he had no powers and he's just like a bruiser. Like what the hell was that from what I saw like months ago?
Oh
You
wow,
know, that's just ridiculous.
That might be after he used he has this new power now where he can like
Supergirl they did it. She used
Did
it.
they?
And she was human for like
Yeah.
an undisclosed amount of time. Right.
You know what I thought was funny about
yeah.
I think the first time he used it, right, when he realized that, or like he became powerless, like because he had just used that ability. You know who the first person he called for help?
Lois.
Batman. He was like, Bruce, I need help. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, no, Batman was he was in the Batcave when Batman told him, "Look, you better not do anything for like 24 hours because you're human."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, crap."
Help
But then
me.
something happened where he did it again. Yeah, but something happened where he did it again where he just didn't get the powers back.
Well, I did have a slight problem with that
And
episode.
the Fortress of Solitude didn't even recognize it, that they took the costume away from him, almost killed him.
Well, I did have a problem with that episode, the continuity logic-wise, of Supergirl, where there's an episode, I think it's called Human for a Day is the name of the episode.
Yeah, that was the day
and she lost her powers because she had fought Red Tornado, and
she used it up like they did in the comic. That's what they do.
I mean, the problem I have with that is she didn't even really fight Red Tornado that hard. I mean, she fought him moderately hard.
Well, she used her.
There was other villains that she fought a lot harder and a lot longer where she didn't run out of powers. So it seems to be a little bit of a continuity.
No, she used her. No, not really. She used her heat vision consecutively into like a nova burst or something. But here's the thing. I am against this new power for Superman because they're stealing it off of the Fantastic Four, where Human Torch would go nova, and then it would be human for a little while. They stole that from Marvel because that's Human Torch. Human Torch uses nova.
This episode then.
I mean, when Human Torch goes nova, he's human for a while. So they stole that. And I wouldn't give Superman new power. He's got enough powers, really.
I mean, also too, like, I know that like this might sound weird, but doesn't it seem a little like too offensive for Superman? Like that's only something that could hurt somebody, really. Like his super strength could be used to lift something, or his heat vision could like seal a wound or something. But that would, to me, I don't know. But it's a cool power, but to me, it just seems a little too like.
I am against him having that power because they should be. There was always a thing where he was unlimited, kind of, which I know it made it boring, but that's why he's called Superman because that's what he is. So
I can understand him doing that.
There's different versions of Superman. I mean, there's like the Golden Age. The Golden Age version of Superman was ridiculous. Which is kind of like
at one time you could just
the Christopher Reeve movies are kind of based on the Golden Age Superman because like the Golden Age Superman, he could like knock planets out of orbit. He had super sneeze where he actually could blow away a whole solar system. I know it sounds like a joke, but I'm not kidding. That was actually
yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah,
there was a comic panel on that note, Steampunk 2, where he had like 29 planets on a chain, and he was dragging them through the universe because their sun was about to explode, and he was like, "This looks like a good place to leave them," and I was like, "All right."
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, then there was the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then that's what the modern Man of Steel is supposed to be based on, the John Byrne's Man of Steel series, which kind of made Superman a little bit more realistic. A little bit more relatable, but yeah. But
I think the worst thing ever written in comics, one of the worst things, is that the Thing died, and then Reed Richards had developed a device to go to heaven, to go get the Thing back, and then they talked to God to try to bring Thing back, and then you found out that God was like Jack Kirby. And he had to write him back into existence. And this is an actual comic, by the way. And I
That
thought
sounds absurd.
and I thought that was one of the most lowest point, ridiculous things I've ever read in Marvel Comics. In fact, it reminds me of that X-Files episode, which I'm not crazy about either. But we're not going to get back into that. Yeah, the werewolf.
He took off his tidy whities and ran into the woods.
That's just, yeah. Again, not really crazy about that. But
I love quoting it, though, because it's so hilarious.
the loving monsters of the X-Files, I'm telling you. God, I can't take it.
What channel is this new X-Files on?
Fox, like it used to be.
Actually, here, okay, I don't have TV.
Chris, if there's a way you could find it, right?
I gotta see this.
You have
Hold
to
on.
see
I
this
was going to say
episode.
the easiest way, and it's free.
It's
is
on demand.
Hold on, let me speak for a second. I'm going to try to give them a way to watch it for free. Just Google search X-Files new television series, and you can go to the Fox website, and you can watch it for free. You can watch all 3 episodes for free. Yeah. You just got to watch commercials.
Yeah.
Do you have Fios? Do you have Fios?
Yeah, I can watch it on demand too.
It's on demand. You just click onto it and watch it.
Oh, okay. I'll do
this is the way to watch it for free.
Yeah.
But that is.
Thanks, Steampunk. Though I'll definitely take a look at that. I'll check both out. See what's going on.
Yeah. Luckily, Fox allows streaming other shows as long as you watch advertisements. A lot of shows are not like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't forward it. You can't rewind it, right?
I mean, if you just have to watch commercials, I mean, that seems fair to me.
Yeah, Supergirl's like that too when we watch on demand too.
It turns it into an hour episode because it's just like watching television, except it's on the Fox News, not Fox News, but the Fox website.
Chris L, I'm telling you, it is. You watched X-Files before?
I watched a few episodes. Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about them. But...
Chris, it was the worst episode I've ever seen.
I gotta see this because
it's really funny. It's Lizard Man and Tidy Whities.
I'm telling you, bro.
Sounds fantastic.
Quote,
Chris,
the man that became a lizard, or was he a lizard that became a man?
They only have 6 episodes, and they waste it on this garbage. And I for the life of me, I'm in utter shock that they did this episode. I'm still can't believe it.
You get to see Scully get the shag on.
It will be the equivalent of Han Solo becoming a ballerina and just like
it's not that bad.
Using like Chewbacca as a fur coat. I'm just like that's.
Well, that's pretty morbid.
Ridiculous. That's to me. That's what the equivalent is. It's just horrible. Yeah. And C-3PO's gold arm as a back scratcher because that's how I liked it in the first place.
That's okay.
I don't think you'll like it at all, Chris. But we'll see.
You want to know what's funny too, though? I mean, this is kind of off topic, but speaking of really bad episodes, my friend Tyler just finished watching Doctor Who this previous season.
Oh no.
Do you know what episode is not in the list of episodes that is apparently on demand?
What?
The Sleep No More.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's just not there.
That's not Gaddis. Somebody else got the Gaddis.
It's Gaddis in the eye.
Yeah.
I was telling him about it too. I was like, listen, let me just explain it to you because like. Let me just explain it to you because like the whole episode means nothing, and I finished explaining it to him, and he was like, "That sounds really bad."
That actually may be. Let me tell you something. That may be
underneath,
like tied with Love and Monsters.
What?
Or even surpass it, possibly. Sleep No.
Oh,
you got trouble.
Might have gotten knocked.
You got in trouble?
That black cord right there.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry about that.
You got in trouble? Did you get in trouble?
No, it was just there's a power strip underneath this table, and my king accidentally knocked the power plug.
At least they allow you to do podcasts. That's nice.
Yeah, they're more laid back here. This is downtown Hollywood Starbucks.
Okay, good.
That's why it looks like I'm on the board on the bridge of the Apple Store Enterprise.
Yeah. What the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, Sleep No More is like Love and Monsters companion, like basically. I'm sorry, like it's like, oh yeah, man, I wonder if I could create a suck episode like that one. it's like, well, you just did.
Oh God. Oh.
You did worse.
What's the? Oh, I got an idea.
High five. It's like, okay. Yeah, horrible.
It should have been a part of the horror chaos. Sleep no more.
No, I'm just gonna say just one thing. Though. There's one more season left. Moffat could put out the biggest stinker there is to tie those two.
So it'll be a trilogy.
Yeah.
What? Him eating toilet boat man?
The cement block.
The Fork
got
Monsters.
The cement block has got Gatus in the eye and creates the doggy deposit army or something like that. Whatever, I don't know.
The Fork Monsters, man.
Fork monsters. Uncle Fork and Aunt Butterknife. Or something.
The cow jumps over the moon.
They'll call the villains. Wait. They'll call the villains the Silverware.
Because
They're coming.
Where?
They'll be like, don't open the drawers. It's like, oh, no. Terrible. I'm telling you. He's got a chance to put out a stinker. I hope he doesn't.
You know what it'll be something stupid like, do you ever wonder why, like, the smoke detectors go off unannounced? They're watching us.
Dude, that's like that. You know, it would be like they have like some type of alien, like that could like with the future, right? So he's like, how could you see the future? They're like, no, I don't see the future. I smell the future. And you'd be like,
What does that burp smell like?
I smell the future. I can smell an explosion that's gonna happen right here from my nose. And it's like, what? It's like,
Time vortex is literally going into their nose.
I could smell the future. Yeah, please don't do stuff like that.
I smelled your TARDIS coming.
Right.
I smell dead people.
Yeah. I smell half Time Lord. Hey, wait a minute, no. All right. No. All right. Off Doctor Who topic because, you know, we just don't want Love and Monsters 3, please. Or any more. We don't have part 2 to Gatus in the Eye. Imagine if he calls it. He should call it that. He should call it that. Gatus in the Eye.
Gatus in the eye and pink.
God. Here we go. If they do, it seems sitting around the board like a board table go,
The guy puts out some awesome episodes.
What could we
Robin Hood and stuff, and then he creates this, and it's like wow. I can't take it. I will actually avoid that episode. I think that's the only reason I buy the box set is because of that episode. I think. I don't know.
That's the one thing I wish networks would do. I know it sounds like I'm getting off the subject here, thank God. But this is one thing I wish networks would do. All their one-season shows, put them into box sets. I mean, why waste an entire one disc for the season for somebody? They could take like 2012 series of all your one-season shows, put them on a box set, put all like the promos for them, not promos, but the pilots for ones that you had planned but never put out, and all the planned pilots. I would love to see all the pilots which they promised for a network.
You know what I would do? I would have all the worst written shit of the year, right? The people that wrote the biggest bombs, the biggest TV cert cancellations. I would put them all in a Friday the 13th movie and have Jason kill them.
Oh, yes.
Gatus would definitely be in a Friday the 13th because of that. The guy would probably like shove like sand and stick it in his eyeballs.
The only Friday the 13th movie I liked was Jason X. That was comedy gold.
There's got to be some punishment for that with Gatus. There's got to be. I would punish. That's ridiculous. I don't care if he puts out the greatest stuff in the world, but when he puts out the greatest crap, then you start thinking differently. Okay, I'm just saying.
They probably threw water balloons at him the next day or something.
They gotta.
No, sand balloons.
Yeah.
Listen.
He walks into his office, the whole thing, there's just sand everywhere on the floor.
Ooh, better yet,
What the hell?
You know the old water bucket trick? They probably
Yeah.
put sand in it, he opens it up and...
And then Moffat walks by you, you got something in your eye there, Marv.
Yeah. I can't believe he put out that garbage. I still can't. I actually have nightmares thinking about that.
Which is ironic because, you know...
It's like probably the editing job, right? You probably have Peter Capaldi actually saying, fuck this, and they probably cut the whole thing out, and like you hear like they probably mixed and spliced something from other episodes. And
Probably when they cut it off.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. It's like
probably when they cut off at the end. So that's probably when he said this.
I've never seen the doctor say, fuck it, I just like go and leave. Like I don't know what happened.
That it doesn't. When he was screaming, it doesn't make any sense at the end of the episode. He probably ad-libbed that in there.
Well, no, that's the episode that he walked off set. That's probably why. Probably sucked. You've never seen that.
Which episode did he walk off the set?
No more.
Oh.
The one with the sleeping booth. Let's just put it that way.
I'd probably just say computer generate me because I'm not finished in this shit.
And everything was seen through Clara's eyes.
That whole thing, the guy's talking to the camera, nobody's around. Who gives a shit? Like, who are you talking to? Who cares? And then, did Moffat say something after that? That he's going to destroy the universe. The Doctor's going to have to go back. Like the Doctor's long gone. He's like, F this.
Screw this. I'm going over here.
I'm not going to remember this suck guy. This guy was terrible.
You've got something in your eye.
That guy you know what happened? That guy defeated himself. He put himself to sleep. That's what happened. Because he's boring. Our idea that guy was the value was a better idea. Because that was just shit. Like, they just did it. Don't ever do something like that again. That was bad. That goes to show don't do found footage stuff.
Yes. Oh, God. That goes to found footage.
I just want to know, like, wasn't there, like, this is the thing. My friend and I were talking about a script that we were writing a couple of days ago. And, like, we're freaking amateurs, right? And we were throwing ideas off each other, and one of us, like, when we threw out a bad idea, we'd be like, nah, I don't think that'll work. Is there nobody that does that for professional writers?
I think in that episode, they all had diarrhea. And I think he just...
Well, the way Hollywood works, it's very much about social hierarchy. It's not about the quality of the script. It's about the name behind it.
Fantastic.
Who you're connected with. Because, like, you're familiar. You guys are familiar with Kevin Smith, the director.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I met him in March 2012 at a book signing at the Grove at Barnes & Noble in downtown LA. And luckily, I was following him on Twitter. You know, he was more accessible than he was at Comic-Con. At Comic-Con, he's swamped with thousands of fans. Because hardly anybody was really paying attention to his Twitter, there was only like 30 people that showed up. So it was really cool because he was very accessible. He did like a comedy stand-up routine at the book signing and a meet and greet with fans. Kevin Smith was really nice. But he said something very interesting. He was saying that... He's like, oh, you did a movie with Bruce Willis? You're a pretty big director. Here's a check for $2 million. And they didn't even read his script for Red State. He was talking about when he wrote the script for a movie. He tried to do a serious movie. It was kind of a mediocre movie. It was one of those movies where there's really no protagonist. You hate everybody in the movie, and that's part of the reason why I don't think Red State worked as a movie. But the interesting thing he said about it was, when he went to the producers who were financing the film, they cut him a check for $2 million. They didn't even read his script or bother to look at it because he had already had good name recognition because he had worked with Bruce Willis. And that's how Hollywood works, sadly, is they don't really check our script. That's the reason why Abrams can put through such big crap as far as scripts, because J.J. Abrams has got big name recognition. and he does plot holes a mile wide, and nobody questions it because he's Abrams.
Well, his wife questioned stuff.
Michael Keaton Batman because he was coming off of Beetlejuice.
His wife is very critical, J.J. Abrams' wife, of himself. The wife of J.J. Abrams, she's like, oh, he didn't do anything. He's got a lot to learn. Like, she just, like, rips him.
Well, I'm not. I would agree with that. I mean, he did a terrible job with the 2 Star Trek movies. He did an okay
he
job.
doesn't have a big head. Yeah.
He did an okay job with Star Wars, but he still had big plot holes even in Star Wars. You can tell that he's kidding to be lazy as a writer because he doesn't have to try anymore. They take whatever crap he writes, and sadly that's how Hollywood works. It's all about social hierarchy and name recognition. You have Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, that's pretty much everything I've heard too. You know, I mean, not to that extent. I had no idea about that Kevin Smith thing. That's pretty eye-opening. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving you first-hand information because I talked to him directly about it. I mean,
That's pretty crazy.
It wasn't as aggressive back then. I should have requested an interview. That would have been the perfect time to do an interview. But if you're curious, I did document my experience with Kevin Smith. You'd have to go back in my videos to 2012. So if any of you who are watching this now or in recording are curious, you just have to go to my YouTube channel and search for Steampunk Star Raisin Kevin Smith, and you'll find a video where I actually videotaped Kevin Smith. So you can actually see the experience I had. He was a really nice guy. Really seemed very grateful of his fans. I don't know. That's
right.
I just want to know how that episode got put through, though. I mean, really, that's a horrible idea, and somebody had to have been like, before they started filming, like, because
it was probably they probably had a different concept, and it probably sounded. It's one of those. It sounds great on paper.
Yeah, that's true.
But yet, like we were saying, there was probably so much damn editing going on that probably got turned totally ass backwards from the time it was originally written to the time that it went to filming. So.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't just say wow. It was just, I mean, that the episode, it just, like, even with the weird monsters, just to me, it didn't feel like a good episode anyway. You know?
It was an interesting way of doing something, but just the follow through just sucked, fit, blew, chewed, and chomped. Could have thrown water at the damn thing and destroyed it. It's like in the original Wizard of Oz when the Wicked Witch took Toto. Why didn't Toto pee on her? I mean, come on, pee on the witch.
There's an article about a rejected Gremlins pitch that opened on a plane.
A rejected what?
It was a rejected Gremlins pitch.
They were on a plane.
You wanted me to send you that?
Sounds cool.
Gremlins on a plane. I'm sick of these gremlins on this fucking plane.
No.
They should make a freaking zombie Gremlins or something now.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Undead Gremlins?
Another Sharknado. There you go.
Imagine that.
I'm sure that's coming later on.
One of the makers of...
You want to do that, Chris?
Yeah, I got it right here.
We didn't even do any of the articles that we were talking about. That's so funny.
So it says here that Damian Shannon and Mark Swift, best known to us horror fans for writing Friday the 13th and the shooting draft of Freddy vs. Jason, allegedly pitched for Warner Bros.' long-gestured reboot/sequel of Gremlins. And apparently, it started out on a plane.
Now you can click that, right?
Yeah, hold on, yeah. Alright, this is pretty small, but I can kind of zoom in here.
She said.
Oh, what the hell? Okay, apparently you can click them. Okay. So it says it opens on a plane landing in Tibet. What else? Oh, okay. So I guess the Mogwais were on the plane,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that they were eating. It says here that they were eating peanuts or something on the plane, and I guess it's after midnight. This is funny because I always you always get those people who watch the movie. They're like, well, what if gremlins are on a plane?
Right,
There's
in
a
the
time
time
difference.
right?
Yeah. We're in the cockpit. We push in. Oh, okay. So they invade the cockpit too. They're not Mogwai anymore. They're green and so they went back to the green ones. Green
Right.
and malevolent gremlins. Wow. This actually sounds kind of morbid because I guess they crashed a plane.
And they all die?
It doesn't say that here, but I mean they're in the cockpit, so.
I know there was always the rumor that in the last Gremlins, that Gizmo was going to become a gremlin, which they always said that might happen. I hope not, though.
Be kind of sad.
Yeah, it would be. So Naomi Rapace, it doesn't have to worry about going after aliens because now she's going after spiders, I guess.
What?
Or something. She's in this movie called Rupture. She's kidnapped. She's tortured with spiders. I mean, there's some horror movie that she's in now. Naomi Rapace.
Who is that?
She's from Prometheus.
Oh,
So.
not a
what
big
else?
fan of that movie.
What else do you got, Chris? It's all on the side, right?
Yeah. There was this article here too about Gotham.
Right.
Let's pull this up here too. Okay, so it says the DC universe on the small screen is getting the DC universe on the small screen is getting a little bigger shortly as new images and a new promo, today have highlighted the arrival of two key characters from DC Comics to two of the biggest series based on the same universe. First up, photos of Daniel DiMaggio as young Kal-El on Supergirl. This is apparently going to be about the episode where she gets infected by an alien parasite, and she has visions of her being on Krypton with Kal-El. That looks kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that reminds me more of one of those like star, whatever the hell that thing's called.
It kind of looks like he's just wearing a Superman T-shirt. Like, okay. The second one is for Gotham. Mr. Freeze is showing up, which that seems kind of early to me, but okay. February 29th of the villains. They're also going to have Malone, Clayface, and Calendar Man.
Yeah, that's the criticism of Gotham is a lot of people are saying these villains are like fully developed like Bruce Wayne is like 10 years old, and it creates a continuity problem. It's discontinuity from the way the comics originally did the story. But I guess, I don't know. There's some good, I started losing interest in Gotham after they killed off the Joker. They built up this Joker character, and then they killed him off.
I think he comes back, doesn't he?
I haven't watched it in a while. I watched the beginning of season 2, and then I kind of got bored with it.
I mean, this kind of goes against the idea that Batman develops his own villains, like because of him they spring forth.
I can understand them having them like before they turn, but having them actually like, oh, here we are, we're all ready made. Yeah.
Yeah. He first of all, that was the thing. Like they all came to be. Didn't they all come into be after he was Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
Right. What else do you have? You have Supergirl on there too, right?
Yeah, we did that.
About Kal-El?
Yeah.
We got a screen share of him, or?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So how many episodes is this? 2?
I'm not even sure. Alright, can you guys see that?
Not yet. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's like, okay, we've got us.
But he was a baby though on
Yeah, he's just kind of wearing a Superman T-shirt. That's what it looks like to me.
Jesus.
They got the hair right, though.
I guess. So what's that? That's like just her dream state?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Any word on what's going on with the Super Bowl? Are they promoting anything?
Tomorrow. Oh, no, tomorrow. Well, yeah, I guess tomorrow now. I know that.
Deadpool, I thought.
Yeah. I think we're also getting the Bourne 5 trailer is going to be attached to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of looking forward to
No
that.
Civil War stuff on there, too?
I don't think they said they
Or
might.
Star Trek, maybe? Star Trek?
Star Trek might have something, but I don't know about Civil War. I think Civil War should have something on there, to tell you the truth. Because this is February. They've got a few months before.
Are they going to
it
show
comes out.
Doctor Strange or something, too, or no?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Strange, they'll probably wait until next year. Or closer to the Christmas.
Doctor Strange comes out in November, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like I said, it probably... Okay, then Thanksgiving or Halloween.
Well,
No,
yeah, I mean,
no, but
Collider
comes
was
out-
talking...
If it comes out in November, when would the trailer be?
The trailer will probably be, I think, maybe, probably attached to Civil War. We'll get a teaser or something.
Oh, okay.
And then a few months after that. But, Collider was talking about today how they thought that they should put, how Lucasfilm and Disney should put Rogue One, the first kind of teaser for Rogue One, with the Super Bowl, because there's still a lot of people who don't even know that movie's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird because, even with The Force Awakens, they released the first teaser trailer a year before the movie came out. And we're less than a year out, and they still haven't even released an official teaser trailer. There's an unofficial teaser trailer that's really low quality.
Yeah.
Watch for YouTube that was from a comic book convention that somebody recorded on their phone, but it was never officially released.
It was a really good trailer, too.
No, it's a really good trailer. It shows the Death Star in the background, really big. They're building it, and you see TIE fighters going over this jungle planet, and you hear Alex Guinness, with his quote about before the dark times, before the Empire. And so, yeah, it's a very menacing trailer. I don't know why they don't officially release that teaser trailer. That's a good teaser trailer. Why not release it?
Yeah. When will Episode 8 be done filming? Would it be done filming by December?
I don't know, to tell you the truth.
Well, didn't we talk about
Wouldn't it have to be?
Is, they suspended production because they're rewriting the script or something?
Yeah, but wouldn't it have to be done filming by December, because the next year, that year up until December, they'd be doing special effects?
Something like that. I mean, I don't know. It all depends on, like Steampunk just said, if the script's done being rewritten, if that strike has been kind of avoided or solved. I know that there was more news today that John Boyega is training for the film, and apparently he's specifically training in fencing. So that sounds like lightsaber duel / vibroblade dueling to me.
Right.
So who knows? I mean,
I'm sure she's training too.
yeah, they could be filming now, for all we know. Who knows?
Right. All right. What about the other articles? There's, I think, 2 other ones, right?
Yeah.
3 other ones?
This one here says Zack Snyder on the Justice League multiverse and the Batman theme. It says we're only a month away from Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. A new interview with the director has gone up over at Hall of Justice podcast, in which he talked about how the film sets up the Justice League films, and namely don't expect much of Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg in this particular outing. So I guess they're not going to be heavily involved in Batman vs. Superman, which is good. It's a good thing.
Good.
Yes.
Well, there was
Could they be an after credit scene or something?
I'm hearing that there's an after credit,
yeah,
not
it's
even
going to
after
be
credits.
Watchmen-esque. In other words, just
Yeah.
like almost like a comic book type setup.
Yeah, showing all of them doing something.
That's cool.
But Zack Snyder, to paraphrase what he's saying here, it says the movie is really about Batman and Superman, and we really take time with them, and we really drill down on the why of them and what they stand for, and for their beliefs. It's pretty much the why of the movie. But apparently these other characters are still going to be in it, so.
I am mixed to whether I'm going to like Batman versus Superman. I really don't like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. Just doesn't feel right to me. And I don't like that they're continuing the Man of Steel universe where Superman kills people, and I don't like Batman's Iron Man suit. He's like Iron Bat. And,
yeah, I don't like that.
It doesn't, I don't know. I have some issues with it. Although Wonder Woman looks really cool. She looks really badass. So, I don't know. I'll probably see it out of curiosity.
What do we have? A MacGyver one, right? Article?
Yeah, let's see. MacGyver feature film reboot coming. Okay. Along with the recently announced TV pilot reboot, Lionsgate is also planning a cinematic reboot of the property as part of its development partnership with CBS. Producer Neil Mortiz and original MacGyver creator Lee David, I'm not even going to attempt that, will produce the film reimagining for Lionsgate, and at the same time CBS will continue with its own TV pilot adaptation from scribe Paul Downs, which has Henry Winkler executive producing.
Ooh.
The original MacGyver series ran for 7 seasons and 139 episodes, spanning 2 TV movies on ABC in 1994.
Okay, I thought it was on ABC.
Well, didn't they already do a couple of MacGyver reboots, like MacGruber? Wasn't that a MacGyver
those were
reboot?
takeoffs. Those were parodies.
I'm being silly.
I don't know.
And what wasn't Stargate SG-1 about a MacGyver reboot?
I know they made cracks about it in the first episode.
What?
Oh,
Stargate?
MacGyver.
Dean Anderson. Somebody made a crack about Richard Dean Anderson since he was.
They're bringing that back too. They're bringing Stargate reboot to the movies, aren't they?
Oh boy.
So, there's news on Vin Diesel is doing Triple X or something?
Yeah, Triple X3.
I've never even seen any of the Triple X movies.
Me neither.
I just didn't really. Yeah, the Triple X movies didn't. I haven't seen them either. It didn't interest me. I've seen the trailer. I was like,
Triple X reminds me of the Fast and the Furious too much.
Really?
yeah, that was the problem I had with why would I shell out money for Triple X when it just looks like another.
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't this week Matt Smith's movie come out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yeah. I think it's already out now, actually.
It looks hilarious.
I could go see that on Sunday. That's cool. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
It looks
so
delightfully hilarious. Actually, might be good because it's got a comedy factor.
He's got to get a hit, man. I mean, he's not getting any hits with the movies.
I want to see him in a Star Wars movie. Like one of the anthology films. I really do.
Why can't they get him? They
probably could. I mean, I'm sure he would say yes.
Oh, he would definitely say yes. He's a huge Star Wars fan. David Tennant was already in Clone Wars.
The weird thing I heard was Rogue One. They originally said it was going to be a trilogy, but then now I hear it's going to be just a one standalone Star Wars film.
Yeah, I think that's for the best too, because apparently it's going to end right where Episode 4 begins. So it's like,
yeah, that would make sense that it ties in.
So this
and
is
if
just
they're going to do that,
right?
if they do that, it doesn't even become like an anthology film. It becomes like an anthology trilogy, which is kind of wasting time, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah. Good point. I think what they're ramping up next after Rogue One and after Episode 8, from everything I've read on movie rumors, would be the Han Solo. They're going to do a trilogy film series with young.
No, but aren't all these anthologies not connected?
They're not like consecutive, but they're still canon.
Connected.
They're still canon.
They're not sequels to each other. It's not like Rogue One and then
Which I think is great. I think that's a great way to expand the galaxy of the stories and whatnot, because we've always been accustomed to just having films about the Skywalker family. But
Right.
with this, it's like we can focus on other people and get used to other characters.
It's a great way to expand the new canon. New
Yeah.
canon is a term used for pretty much anything Disney considers canon, including the comic books, the novels, and all these.
I was starting to get the comic, and then I can't get into it because I'm like, this is like craziness.
Well,
Too
yeah.
much.
I mean, I know. Like, I think it was Darth Vader Down. That was a very popular comic, but then it ended on a bad note. That's what the reviews I read said.
Okay.
That they kind of the way they ended that series was supposed to be like a prequel and to show you how badass Darth Vader was, but then it ended like it seemed redundant. That's what the one critic that I saw.
Yeah, I think that was actually just like it was tied into the Star Wars comic, and then it was supposed to lead like into what they were doing in the Darth Vader comic itself.
Right.
But I heard the same thing too. I heard it didn't end very well. Like it was kind of.
That's
You want
terrible.
badass Vader? I'm gonna keep saying it. Read Lords of the Sith.
Okay.
That is enough badass for like 8 movies. I'm not even joking.
Wow. I think that's it for the articles, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
I mean, the one thing is Lawrence Kasdan. If you look up his IMDb, he is penning the script for the first young Han Solo film. Lawrence Kasdan, the guy who pretty much fleshed out the character of Yoda, wrote the screenplay for Empire Strikes Back, and he didn't write the full screenplay, but he did character treatment to The Force Awakens. He's a co-writer. Lawrence Kasdan is co-writer.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, well, more people need to know his name because
I know he did Empire Strikes Back.
Okay. He also, he did Empire. He wrote the screenplay for Empire Strikes Back. He wrote the screenplay for Return of the Jedi.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that George Lucas, when he came back to do a sequel, because Star Wars did surprisingly well, at the time being the highest-grossing film of all time, he only had a basic story synopsis. He's like, Yoda is going to be a legendary Jedi Master, and, Darth Vader's Luke's father. He had just a basic notes, not even a real script, tying all those notes together. And it was Lawrence Kasdan who wrote the screenplay for Empire Strikes Back, and he's responsible for making Empire Strikes Back such a great story because he tied all that together. And even Lawrence Kasdan even wrote a lot of the dialogue, or most of the dialogue.
Well, he made Force Awakens amazing too.
Yeah, I mean, Force Awakens, I think that's the reason why The Force Awakens does not suck, despite J.J. Abrams, because of Lawrence Kasdan's handiwork, because Lawrence Kasdan is familiar with the characters. He helped create the original trilogy. You can almost credit him, I know this would be a very controversial statement, but I would almost credit Lawrence Kasdan as co-creator of Star Wars as we know it today.
Well, that's a little extreme.
Well, I don't think it is, because he fleshed out the character of Yoda. And when you think of Star Wars, you think of Yoda. George Lucas just basically had a brief reference to what Yoda was. It was Lawrence Kasdan who really breathed life into that character. I would almost credit him as co-creator, but I know, like I said, I know that's extreme, but that's just my opinion.
To add on to that point, though, I think a major reason why episodes 1, 2, and 3 weren't as good is because Lucas didn't have somebody to bounce ideas off of. It was all him.
Yeah, he
had assistant directors.
He wanted to talk back about it.
Right, he had assistant directors, but if you watch that documentary that I sent Joe, and this is going to sound derogatory, and I apologize, but George Lucas, in my opinion, was surrounded by a bunch of yes men in that documentary.
Well,
everything he did, they were like, yes.
Which documentary was this?
It was the making of the Phantom Menace, and it kind of took place like before the movie came out. It ends after the movie comes out, and you see George Lucas just doing these things, and you see the faces of the people in there that are like, this isn't gonna work, but nobody says anything. And it's like the most telling thing, and I think Joe, you'll probably back me up on this, is when they do the first test screening of the movie.
Absolutely.
Right? And George Lucas is in there, and all the people are in there, and Rick McCallum, who was the executive producer, one of the executive producers, is pissed at the end of the movie. It looks like he wants to quit his job right there. And then finally, one of the animators of I think the animator or the editor, I don't remember who, I think it was the editor, the head editor's like, this movie is so jumbled. That's why it's not going to work. And then George Lucas is like, oh, I guess I went too far in some places.
Well, I would
Even
agree.
Steven Spielberg was
micromanaged. I was going to say, I would agree that Lucas in the prequel trilogy, he micromanaged things too much, and things could have been much better. But I don't hate the prequel trilogy. I even liked the Phantom Menace.
Steven Spielberg even told him, "This is the, remember, Chris? This is your stormtroopers. Like this is your answer to."
Well, that was the thing too. Like when Steven Spielberg came on the set, Lucas told him, like he showed him the first model of a full-sized battle droid.
And it's like, ew.
The thing that really bothered me about that was he was explaining that this was the army that was basically going to take over then fight the Gungans and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he tells Steven Spielberg, like, these guys are useless. Jedi cut them down like butter. They can't really do much. They're really obsolete. And I was like, then why are they in the movie?
Right.
Why is this the main army that's in the movie? Your main army is obsolete? They're useless? Then why should we be afraid of them? Why should we care?
Well, they did explain this a little bit better in the Clone Wars TV series, that the droid army, it was basically, the droid army was mass, or was quantity over quality. The droid army outnumbered the clone trooper army like 10 to 1. Mm. So yeah, on an individual basis, the droids were inferior to Jedi. They were inferior to clone troopers, but they outnumbered them 10 to 1, sometimes 100 to 1, and that was the advantage of building a droid army, is it's quantity over quality.
Well, that was cool, but like even in the Clone Wars, they started developing battle droids that were just as good as clones, and it was like, why didn't they start out like this? Like,
right.
I mean, one could say that they didn't start out like that because they hadn't seen clones before, so they didn't have anything to base it off of. But I don't know. I just think that if you're making a movie, right, and you want an army to take over like a whole planet, you kind of make them intimidating. That's just like from my perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like the prequel trilogy. I still think they're good films. I mean, they're not as good as the original trilogy, but I don't hate the prequel trilogy like some people do. I actually think Revenge of the Sith is my second favorite Star Wars film of all time.
Mm. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up because me and Scott are falling asleep here. So,
all right.
So,
not meaning to.
Look, I'm like, So we'll catch up on this tomorrow, possibly, or Sunday. So take care. Bye for now.
Ciao.